classic Wrath of the Lich King login queues are insane.
What is up, guys? Stay safe here. So I know all of you can probably guess what this video is going to be about.
I wonder.
The Battle.net forums, the classic WoW Battle.net forums, all the classic subreddits, all the classic Discords that I'm sure all of you guys are in, are all talking about this very annoying, impactful issue. And that is the login times now that classic WoW Wrath of the Lich King pre-patch has released in the last couple days.
Look at that, 13,000 people. That's too many fucking people. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's like nobody wants to be on the dead server.
It is taking forever.
It's not even out yet.
To log into some of these mega servers. So I'm just going to jump right into the video, which is pretty much me complaining. It is very hard to imagine that this is the reality of a service that you are paying a monthly premium for. Imagine that you had to wait several hours before you were able to load up a Netflix video or an HBO video.
Well, it's also like, that actually is a really, that's a really good fucking point. I was going to say it's like paying money to stand in line at the DMV, but that's actually a really good fucking point. Yeah, wow. True.
Is frankly absurd that this is the current state of Classic WoW in the year 2022.
Yeah.
And it is so absurd, in fact, that a lot of people are actually using things like Remote Desktop and various other similar programs.
I would do that. Like, I remember the night that Classic came out, I had my mom stay on my account and keep me from being logged out. That's how I was able to sleep and then wake up and stream again without sitting in the queue. It's because I had her keeping me in the game. And I would do the same thing. Like, I remember as soon as I would go offline, I would log back in, and that way I could be online by the time I came back.
To bypass the login queue, i.e. using these functionalities to just never log out and remain logged in 24/7, which is why your login queue is so high probably, because other people aren't logging out as naturally as they should be, or they're putting themselves in the login queue.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's like people don't want to log out because they don't want to be stuck in this fucking queue again. I think that's a really good point. It increases the queue. People are not playing the game in a natural way. Like, I'll tell you guys, like, whenever we do New World, I probably will have to log out a while because New World's pretty graphics intensive, but like, I might not, just so I can prevent myself from being knocked offline or having to sit in the queue again.
3 or 4 hours before they get home from work, they're sitting in their office at work, and then they remote desktop log themselves in so that by the time they get home, they're ready to game.
Google's got
now,
a great
in a lot of ways,
resource
these login queues are about as large. They're very reminiscent of the login queues that we experienced in 2019 when Classic WoW first originally came out, Classic Vanilla, just about 3 years ago. But you would think that over 3 years of Classic WoW and analytic information that Blizzard has gathered from us and the way that we play the game, that Blizzard would have implemented some extra precautions or extra server capacity in the last 3 years to help very exciting and...
So, this is something, stay safe, welcome to my world. Welcome to my world where whenever you are in a 20-man world PvP encounter in retail World of Warcraft, the servers stop working. Fuck, you can do an AoE pull and the servers lag. I feel like the servers are using all of the same hamsters that they started with whenever the game came out. Except for now, they're all dead. And this is what we get. It's insane. It's absolutely crazy how bad these servers are. Meanwhile, you can go over to Ashes of Creation Alpha, and they can have 100 people fighting a dragon, there's no problem. How does this happen?
Hype periods like right now. Now, beyond that, I've got to say, and this is probably the most frustrating part in my mind, things are probably only going to get worse. Wrath of the Lich King hasn't even launched yet. We are right now in the first couple days of
Well, keep in mind, not only has it not even launched, it's 20 days away from launching. It's not like, oh, it's going to come out in 3 days. No, this is like 3 weeks.
Pre-patch, which leads us into the actual hype event, which is Classic Wrath launch in about 3 weeks from now. Now, if we look at the history of the private server, the classic legacy WoW private server community, there is a very, very real chance that classic Wrath of the Lich King will be even more popular than classic WoW vanilla, or at least various points of it, maybe Ulduar launch, or maybe the first couple days of classic Wrath. No promises, but regardless, even if it's not bigger than vanilla, it's going to be pretty big. Definitely bigger than classic TBC. Additionally, as a sort
I think that could be true. I do. I mean, it's like, I think that for me, I might have underestimated a little bit of how many people actually started in Wrath of the Lich King. So it's like their Wrath is my classic. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of people, it's like they were the DK that was gymming intellect and attack power in original Wrath. And now they understand the error of their ways and they're back for vengeance.
Of salt on the wound, kind of, maybe intentionally or unintentionally, Blizzard has offered free transfers to servers that are just categorically dead. Like literally, pretty much no one is playing on them.
I don't understand why Blizzard can't acknowledge the obvious reality that players don't want to play on servers that are not mega servers. Everybody wants to play on a mega server. And what Blizzard probably did is they listened to the player base. Big mistake. Never listen to the player base if you have data that can reflect the opposite. If you have data versus what people are saying, always go with the data. Because people are like, oh, I like my little server community and we're all just a little group of friends. But, you know, since that guild transferred off, well then the other guild transferred off and now I think we're going to transfer off too. And before you fucking know it, it's another dead server. That's what it is. I'm sorry, but that's what happens. And they listen to people that have no fucking idea what they're talking about.
Which is a complete non-solution, as no one in their right mind would choose to play on these servers.
Oh, Blanchy's dead. Bro, this server's more dead than the horses in retail WoW. And it's an undead mount in retail WoW. Who the fuck wants to play on that? 350 people on the server.
One that is aware of anything going on in this game would choose to play on a server that has this little population.
Fuck
I'm going to throw them up on screen right here. You can see pretty much no one is playing on these servers. If you reroll or take the free transfer to these servers, it is almost impossible to find a raiding guild, to find a daily heroic group, to find people for your arena team.
Yep.
It's just completely a non-viable solution. Calling it a solution
it's like, I remember back whenever I transferred over to Kel'Thuzad, is like, were y'all, like, maybe I had this experience, right? Like, so like Thrall was a high pop server, but it was like 70-80% Horde and 20% Alliance. I was on Alliance. So like, for the amount of people on my server, I would always struggle to get groups for VOA. I would always struggle to get groups for even of like a 5-man heroic, right? I go over to KT. I'm like, yo, who wants to do ice? No, not who wants. I saw a group. This is like the first day I transferred over. People were making a pug for ICC heroic. It's like, I thought guilds couldn't even do that. It's so hard. And they're like, yeah, no, we just go in there and do it. I mean, everybody goes in there, they just do what they need to do, and we kill the bosses. I'm like, is that right? They said, yeah, you want to go? I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, I want to go, and we did it. And so it's a night and day difference. It's a difference between waiting 20 minutes and waiting 2 minutes. And the reality is that a lot of the fucking people that are there for Wrath of the Lich King Classic are like me and Stay Safe. Boomers pushing 30 that have more life responsibilities than they want to have, or maybe they like having them, but it sure gets in the fucking way of video games, doesn't it? And guess what? They don't have as much time to play the game. So the difference between 2 and 20 minutes is the difference between 1 and 2 dungeons. Nobody wants to go over to old Blanchy. Let it die. Give it some fun. Like, let it just go out. It's gonna die in like that horse dies in Cataclysm anyway, man. Like, fuck. Well, move on.
All is generous. Now, of course,
by the way, I always thought that was fucked up. You know what I mean? Like of all the things Deathwing did, like that was probably one of the worst ones. Like who the fuck? Like, why the fuck you kill all Blanchy? Like, what is this? Like, why?
Always pay to transfer to a medium or other high pop server, but then you're essentially expected by Blizzard to pay to solve the problem that Blizzard has allowed to manifest in the first place.
Yeah, you have to spend money to solve their problem.
Landscape,
true.
This crazy server landscape that we found ourselves in over the last 3 years. And of course, on top of that, you would likely be leaving your entire in-game social network and community behind, and you'd go to a new server where you don't know anyone and you have no friends. And that's kind of the point of an MMO, is that over years, months, you build attachments to the people, the guild, the community that you are playing with on a daily basis.
I like the idea of, like, on the Fresh server, and like this is the same as like a New World and Lost Ark, etc., these other MMOs. I like the idea of it's a fresh start for everybody. Everybody starts from zero. Well, not really, because I already got the paid start, because, you know, gaming in 2022. But besides that, everybody's basically, like, I like the resets. I like the fucking complete resets, the fresh resets. I like it. I think it's interesting, because it's like new social bonds form, new relationships occur, new friendships happen. I love that. I think that's what's beautiful about these games. But this is like, bro, like, this is like transferring high schools whenever you're a senior. Like, this is your last year. This is where you get to fucking, you get an off period that you get to hang with the boys at Dairy Queen on. Like, you're not going to be transferring, leaving your high school after 3 years. You've been on probably this server ever since, like, vanilla, maybe late TBC. Like, you are here to stay. That's what it feels.
So server transfers, especially free server transfers to unpopulated servers, it's a pretty unattractive solution, like I mentioned a moment ago. So there's not a lot of good options. You have sometimes over 13,000 players just on one server. This is just on Benediction. I'm sure if you added up all the queue times, all the people sitting...
It's like on the Fresh server. What the fuck is this? Like on the Fresh server, I gotta wait an hour to log on to the game. 1 hour to log on to play a video game. Holy shit.
In queue, we'd be pushing 30,000, 40,000 players sitting right now trying to log into a server of Classic WoW. They're sitting at their computer waiting to play this game that they're paying a monthly premium to play. You're paying a monthly fee to play the game that originally came out 15 years ago, mind you. But
and I really want to fucking preemptively respond to any dipshit dumbfuck moron who thinks that it's a good idea to say, yeah, but you could play on another realm and it would be fine. It's a worse experience. It is. Like, imagine you played on Benediction ever since the beginning of TBC or Vanilla because your friends played on it. So what are you supposed to do? You have to make a whole new character? Like, what the fuck? But it's just such a ridiculous thing. It's honestly ridiculous that this is happening. I don't understand it. And Blizzard's completely dropping the ball. Like, I don't care. You guys have to understand this. I don't have a job. I could stay up however late and get up however early and do whatever I want. But this is not good for everybody else.
They can't play for some cost-saving reason that Blizzard's analytic team has decided upon, right? So to me, it seems pretty clear that Blizzard has not increased the server capacity because it costs money, and most of the time that extra capacity isn't needed, to be fair to Blizzard.
This happened in WoD. This happened in WoD. They had to increase server capacity then too. You would be in an 8-hour queue.
So the cost, therefore, is not justified. But maybe that justification made sense in Classic Vanilla 3 years ago, but at this point, we have a paid monthly cost, we have paid server changes, we have paid collector's editions, and upcoming we have paid faction and race changes. The least that could be done is to allow players to pay the game to play the game during points of extreme hype and excitement, like now during a pre-patch, or a big raid launch, or an upcoming expansion. Now, I look back at Classic Vanilla, and there are a handful of servers. My server was Fairlina at the time. This is one of the most popular servers. It was the streamer server, right? A lot of people playing on the server that had queues. Some of these servers just had queues for months, the first several months of Classic WoW. And Blizzard just kind of let it happen. So if you're expecting things to get better as we segue into Classic Wrath and we work through?
I think that it's different now because now there have been a number of changes. Like, you were able to make the argument back in Classic WoW that it's like, oh, well, it's going to be like the old days. It's going to be like the old day. We had it back in the day. It's just going to be about the same. Oh, yeah, that's right. No changes. And that's how it used to be. And that's okay. That was good for Classic WoW. However, at this point in Wrath, let's make the game work. How about that? How about make the game work? How about just maybe possibility, the chance of the option that maybe just the game works and you can play, you log on, play the game. Like, we have that go around. We can go play the Classic era servers. Make it work.
The rest of pre-patch, I would not be so optimistic. So I would just ask Blizzard, at least offer free server transfers to some more desirable servers that are not these geriatric servers that literally no one wants to play on. And I know
nobody wants to play on that fucking old Blanchy bullshit. Nobody wants to play on any of these other servers. Like, the thing is, I think that if Blizzard added another server and you could transfer it to another server that was also like pretty high pop, people still wouldn't do it. How many of you guys are on your server because your friends are on that server? Like, all of my friends are on Benediction and Sky Fury. So I'm not leaving that server. It doesn't matter if there's a 12-hour queue. I'll just start the queue before I go to bed. Yeah, I mean, fuck that.
That because no one plays on them. Now, to the players that are currently sitting in these login queues that are trying to play on these servers that have just disgusting login queues that you should not have to sit through.
It's insane.
Things might get a little bit better over the next couple weeks as we continue through Classic Wrath pre-patch. But I'll tell you, when Wrath comes out, things are going to get a lot worse. So maybe start thinking and talking.
And also, like, whenever Wrath comes out, the thing is that Wrath is not about the initial burst as much as it is about big, like, beats that happen later on. So, like, we're talking Ulduar, we're talking ICC. Like, these points will probably see a player base size that is, it depends on what happens throughout Wrath, but I think that is, it could possibly be comparable to the release of the game. I remember that, how many of you guys were there 3,000 years ago whenever Ulduar came out and you couldn't log in until like 11 p.m.? I was there. It happened 15 years ago. And it's like we're getting ready to have this shit happen again, man. What is this?
Into your friends and your guild and kind of start planning accordingly. And yeah, I hate that planning accordingly likely means paying to go to a medium or lower pop server.
No, you know what? I don't think anybody should transfer. I don't think you should pay $15 fucking dollars, or you should take a free transfer, because Blizzard can't fix this fucking problem. You shouldn't compromise on having a good experience with the boys. That's what it's all about. Nobody should just, you gotta pay $25 to fix their mistake. Why don't they have a GoFundMe and everybody can pitch in $25 and they'll make servers good? How about that?
You're currently on, assuming Blizzard hasn't
apparently that's the only way they can do it.
Some of these servers, like they did to several of them. The server I'm on, Peggle, is a medium pop server, and Blizzard locked it. You guys couldn't even transfer here if you wanted. I don't even know if you could make a new character. But that is pretty much your only option other than sitting in login queues for several hours a day at this point. Things are looking pretty bleak unless Blizzard decides to actually do something. Anyway, guys, I wanted to make this video to say that I see the complaints. I feel your pain. Back in Classic Vanilla, when I was playing on one of these very, very high-pop servers with just egregious login queues, I would wake up at 3 in the morning, I would play for 18, 19 hours a day, and I'd go to bed at 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. And I would go to sleep as the login queues went down, and I'd wake up as the login queues were at their absolute lowest, and I would just ride out the entire wave, and I wouldn't log out. So that's
actually what I did too, because like I was waking up. Y'all remember this shit? Like I remember I would go live whenever the sun was still down. Like I remember we would watch the sun come up on at Stranglethorn Vale. I remember that very clearly, and we hardly even had a login queue at all. It was fucking 6 or 5 in the morning. Like those are some good times. The sun, yeah. I mean, fuck. I hate the sun.
I got around the login queues, but like that's not normal. That's not healthy.
It's weird, yeah.
Right? you're probably a normal guy
Nobody
who
wants
has to go to work
that.
or has a family or whatever, and you get
There's
home.
a lot of people that are not going to think about this. You have to remember, like, a lot of people, I'd say most people that are playing Wrath Classic, they're just going to be like, well, I can't log in. I guess I can't play the game. Well, fuck, maybe I'll come back later. And then they don't come back. That's what a lot of people are actually going to do.
5 or 6 in the evening, and it's like, what? I'm paying to play this game. I want to just play the game. And you can't. You have a 4-hour login queue, and by the time the login queue is over, it's time to go to bed and do it all over again.
Yeah, and you have to leave your server community.
It's just unacceptable.
If you don't like that.
Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Please drop a comment down below. Let me know, what should Blizzard do? Like, what is the solution?
And it's crazy, right? Because, like, I went and I played on the fresh server. I tried to log into Benediction. I couldn't. So I started playing on a fresh server. I'm like, fuck, I guess I'll try this out. I saw Soda playing, SFAM playing, fucking like Payo I think was playing. I was like, ah, fuck, I'll try it out, right? Why not? Nick was there. So I go and I log on, and I'm having fun first few days. Now, look at this horse shit. And I've been here for 30 minutes. I did nothing. I didn't, like, it's all, like, I just made the character and the server queue went up. That's nothing, bro. No, it is not. It is nothing. You're right. It's nothing. What I'm saying is that it's going to get more. GrobUS is a 180-minute queue. I'm going to ask my friend Eric. We fucking, we used to beat the shit out of each other in middle school. How long are your queues for Grob? People saying it's, what do you say, 6 hours? He's away. I think he has like a job or like some fucking shit, right? So I probably won't get a response back for a while. But yeah, it's just nuts. 6.5 hours. It's insane, man. What a loser. Yeah, I know, true. I just like, it's like, it's Labor Day. Yeah, well, it says he's away. Like, I don't know if he's on or not. Like, he'll message me back if he's there. That's it. The person problem is exacerbated as people log in multiple accounts, keep them logged in. Well, they'll stay logged in on purpose. That's what it is. Because like I figured like, because I would ask him like somebody's like, he'll be like, oh, I saw one of your videos. It's like, okay, cool, right, or he'll fucking get mad at me because I said that I beat him in Magic in high school, which I fucking did, by the way. Every lunch I beat him in Magic. He beat me like 3 times out of 4 years. But anyway, so besides that, like, I mean, he's basically pretty much a normal guy, right? You know, he goes to work. He's got social media, I'm pretty sure, but like not really. And that's it. So I'm curious, like, what his opinion is on it.
Noticed I have not really offered a solution in the video. I'm not a server architecture. That's not what I have my degree in. That's not my field of expertise.
No.
But I can sure as hell identify a problem, and this is a problem, right? So what do you guys think Blizzard should do about this? Drop a comment. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it, guys. And as always, hey, make sure to stay safe.
I was about to say, he didn't even advertise the gum. I was like, wait a minute, like, what's he doing? But there we go. Push the third. Yeah, it's nuts, man. I'm gonna die of old age before this fucking Shibuya get to log on, man. I'm glad to see Stay Safe making videos talking about this. That's the video. Go ahead, give it a like, give him a sub. He's been making Classic content since before Classic. He was one of the original 3 of Classic Cast, right? And being queued so damn long today. Yeah, exactly. Power Gum's really good. Well, there you go. You take a look, check it out, man. Like, I have no idea. I don't really eat gum because of my teeth, so or chew gum, excuse me. So I can't really say one way or another. But what I can say is that this is so bad. It is so bad. They need to fix it. I don't care how. It just needs to be fixed. And you can't expect players to leave their social groups because of it. I'm going to be honest. That's such a bad idea. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Hit the L right on the head. Only time to be able to log in recently is the weekend. Yeah. Up to Blizzard to solve this. Exactly. They expect the players to fucking accommodate them. It's like, hey, we can't manage anything. Please fucking pay us to solve the problem. But please pay us to use our automated system to solve our problem that we've created. One of the people whose guild decided to died to the roster boss in Sunwell Plateau Progression, transferred 2 months ago to meet up with all guildies. Now he can't play the game. Wow, Chris Abercrombie. Well, that's okay, man. I don't want to take the free transfer to Old Blanchie. Don't, Chris. What the fuck are you thinking? Why would you even do that? Yeah, why would you even, like, no shot you want to go over there. No way. They're not going to solve it, though. Might as well, yeah, pay or don't play. I think a lot of people, like, but who loses there is, like, the player. Everybody loses with that option. Like, Blizzard loses players. They lose faith. Players don't, they lose the ability to play the game. Like, that's a zero positive situation. So, what's this here? Benediction, starting on Classic Benediction. Watched it over time as it became what it is today. An ally PvE server. At first, Benediction was pretty healthy. Transfer over a bunch of players. Logic is you can actually play the damn game. Yeah, I don't care about that. I would rather not play the game than play on a dead server. Straight up, I would rather not play the game. There is nothing more fucking depressing than logging into a game and it's fucking dead. I remember I did this in New World. I logged on, I was on Olympus, and I hadn't been on New World for like 3 or 4 months. It was a long time. I log back on the game, and there's one level 54 at the auction house. The whole other place was a graveyard. And whenever I had left, it was one of the most populated servers on the entire fucking player base. And I said, you know what? I logged off. I was going to play the game, but I didn't that day because it was so depressing. And then I had to pay money to transfer over to Pluto, and that was another server. And guess what? Just like Pluto's not a planet anymore, well, Pluto's not a server anymore either. It's fucking dead. That one died too. So I had to pay another $15 to do it again. So now I'm dropping $30 because they can't keep people on one server. Server transfer shouldn't be a thing. You shouldn't have to pay for it. I think that there is a reason, like it is a prohibitory cost to make sure that people don't just transfer willy-nilly back and forth. I think it made a lot of sense in 2008, and I think it makes 0 sense now. It doesn't. Just let people transfer and go where they want. Server economies, everything that is server-based, aside from maybe like server-first achievements and stuff like that, has literally, in my opinion, no value. 0 fucking value. All I care about is being able to play the game.